top stories tonight in Y News. All public school teachers will receive a cash allowance of 5,000 pesos from the Department of Education starting on Monday. The Transportation Department confirms a looming shortage of beep cards used by rail commuters. 2 more cases of monkeypox have been confirmed in the country. And Apple is urging its users to install emergency software updates due to a flaw that might allow hackers to seize control of iPhones, iPads, and Mac computers. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Friday, the 19th of August, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts. First in the news, on the first day of classes on Monday, the Department of Education will give teachers who work in public schools an additional cash allowance. This is separate from the school's maintenance and other operating expenses. Janice Inhente reports.
To assist teachers in getting whatever they need to get ready for the next school year, each teacher working in public schools will get a cash allowance worth 5,000 pesos from the Department of Education. According to DepEd spokesperson Attorney Michael Poa, releasing of the said funds will begin on Monday, August 22.
Lahat po ng teachers makakatanggap, ibababa po yan sa, I think, sa schools divisions. I'll confirm. Pero lahat po ay makakatanggap by August 22 nung 5,000 cash allowance. Yan po ay para makatulong sa kanila sa preparation din nila for the upcoming school year.
Poa remarked that this supplemental fund is different from the maintenance and other operational expenses of the schools or MOOE.
Mga chalk and all that should be part of the MOOE of the schools. Itong 5,000 po ay lalo na yung mga kailangan ng mga internet connection. Diyan po lang nila, parang additional allowance lang po talaga yan for our teachers.
A total of 3.7 billion worth of supplemental MOOE has been downloaded so that all schools in the nation are well equipped for the students' return to in-person classes. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the price of school supplies has increased in Manila's Divisoria market. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Retailers of school supplies at the Divisoria market admits that most of the school supplies have seen price increases as of today. They think this is due to the demand for items after it was put on hold due to COVID-19 pandemic. Retailers, however, are still optimistic that they will soon make money, especially this weekend, as last-minute shoppers are anticipated.
Halos lahat nagtaas talaga ngayon. Yung notebook dating 12 lang, ngayon 15 na. Pinaka may 18 pa kasi iba yung tapos yung ballpen katulad ng dating 8 lang, ngayon 10 na.
Lahat po nagtaas po. Lahat siya. Kahit yung mga ballpen nagtaas din. Dating 10, ngayon 15 na, ganun. Mga pad paper, 35, 45.
Currently, school pants and skirts may be purchased for between 150 and 300 pesos, while school uniforms can be bought for between 150 and 250 pesos, while bags that may be used by kindergarten to high school students range in price from 250 to 555 pesos. Shoes made of rubber and synthetic leather cost between 100 and 380 pesos. Basic school supplies cost between 20 and 28 pesos for a notebook, 12 to 15 pesos for a ballpoint pen, and 8 to 15 pesos for pencils. Yellow pad papers cost 75 pesos, whereas pad papers for elementary students range from 35 pesos to 55 pesos. Earlier today, DTI sent a letter of inquiry to a retailer of school supplies after discovering that it was selling pad papers for more than the department's suggested retail price.
Mostly compliant naman po sila dun sa gabay natin ng our guide for school supplies. Although meron tayo ding LOI na isa dahil yung writing pad po for grade 1, yung 80 leaves, mas mataas ng 2 pesos sa SRP.
The general public is urged to visit the DTI's official website to search for the SRP Bulletin of School Supplies, which they may use as a reference. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Transportation has issued a warning to commuters about an impending beep card shortage. Asher Kadapan Jr. explains why.
Global chip supply problem is being encountered by the provider of beep card utilized in rail lines in Metro Manila. This is primarily due to limited access to special gases from Russia to manufacture microchips integrated in beep cards. Its production is also affected by the lingering repercussions of the COVID-19 pandemic in major manufacturing hubs such as China. While increased shipment and logistics costs due to the global economic downturn also contribute to the supply shortage of stored value cards. Transportation Undersecretary for Railways Cesar Chavez cited these factors in a letter addressed to public transport operators of rail lines. USEC Chavez explains in a statement that the said challenges hindered the beep card provider to fulfill the delivery of 75,000 stored value cards vis-a-vis the card forecast demand of Metro Rail Transit Line 3 for the month of July 2022. This despite its repeated and diligent coordination with card suppliers abroad. The DOTR, however, says they are addressing the looming beep card shortage by finding alternative ways to solve the expected demand of stored value cards. Meanwhile, MRT3 passengers who don't have beep cards may purchase single journey tickets from corresponding stations.
Dito pong pasukan sa Lunes, kami po ay nagbibigay ng assurance na hindi kakapusin itong single journey ticket as compared dito sa stored value. So ang talagang may problema lang ay yung stored value.
The DOTR and the concerned rail lines appeal to the passengers to take good care of their beep cards to help against its shortage. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Department of Health, or DOH, reports 2 new cases of monkeypox detected in the Philippines. According to DOH Officer in Charge Maria Rosario Vergere, there is now a total of 3 cases of monkeypox in the country. The official also said they are currently verifying the current health status of the close contacts. She also withheld any more information on the 2 monkeypox patients. Meanwhile, the health department urged the public to continue observing minimum health and safety protocols. The department also reminded the public that the viral disease can be transmitted through close contact with an infected person or animal. The World Health Organization previously declared monkeypox as a global health emergency.
Federal health officials have announced a significant increase in the supply of the monkeypox vaccine in the United States. Jane Robles will tell us why live. Yes, Jane?
Kath, in response to a surge of over 30% more cases of monkeypox, the Biden administration announced an increase to the nation's supply starting on Monday, August 22. In a fact sheet from the White House, an additional 1.8 million doses of the monkeypox or Jynneos vaccine will be made available, and jurisdictions that have used 90% of their current supply can order additional doses. The administration is also starting a new program that would save 50,000 doses of vaccine for high-risk communities and distribution at other significant events. According to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, as of August 17, the U.S. reported more than 13,350 cases of monkeypox and increasing, accounting for more than 1/3 of the global cases. The U.S. declared the monkeypox a public health emergency back on August 4. Back to you, Kath.
Thank you, Jane, for that live report. Some Apple devices may have security issues, and updates should be done by users. Tech giant Apple published a report about security vulnerabilities of affected devices, which may allow hackers to fully control their gadgets. Some devices, such as the iPhone 6s and later models, some iPad models, Mac computers with Mac OS Monterey, and some iPod models have been affected by this security breach. Security experts advise the users of these models to update their devices. Apple explained that if a hacker got to the device, they can get full admin access, and it would allow them to impersonate the device owner and run any software under the user's name. Apple, however, did not disclose how these security issues were discovered, but it cited an anonymous researcher. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, William.
Yes, thank you, Kat. Consumers in Metro Manila can expect a price drop in sugar in leading groceries and supermarkets next week. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
Major groceries and supermarkets in Metro Manila have heeded Filipino consumers' call to make cheap-priced sugar available. Executive Secretary Victor Rodriguez stated that owners of Robinson Supermarket, SM Supermarket, and Pure Gold Supermarket agreed to a suggested retail of 70 pesos per kilo of sugar from a high of 90 to 110 pesos per kilo. ES Rodriguez stated that the Department of Trade and Industry will monitor participating retailers' compliance with the agreed purchase limit of 1 kilogram per consumer. This is to prevent possible household hoarding by some enterprising consumers and in order to ensure that many consumers can benefit from the inexpensive sugar. According to Press Secretary Trixie Cruz Angeles, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. reportedly praised the businessman's selfless response.
Hinirang po ito ni Pangulong Marcos sa kanilang mga sakripisyo na mabawasan ng kanilang kita at profits bilang tulong sa ordinaryong consumer.
Consumers may anticipate a price reduction in the top supermarkets in Metro Manila the following week. Supermarket owners say the 70 pesos per kilogram of sugar is available as long as supplies last. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Farmers urge restaurant owners to use red onions in place of white onions in their recipes. This comes after a shortage of supply in white onions for some food businesses. Ray Pelayo explains why.
Farmers asked the government to delay importing white onions to help with the supply shortage. Israel Reguyal, president of the Bonena Multipurpose Cooperative, said there is an oversupply of red onion in the country. White onion importation will also harm farmers.
Mariin po namin tinututulan talaga ang pag-i-import ng sibuyas. Unang-una po kasi, ang importation po kasi ay siya po ang sumisira dito sa aming kabuhayan.
Even if they have stock of white onions, they supply it to their customers under contract. They encourage customers, especially restaurant owners, to use red onions as an alternative to white onion.
Yung kakulangan natin sa white onion, baka naman po pwede na i-alternate natin itong red onion dito po sa white onion. Nang sa ganun po, yung pong red onion, ma-dispose natin lahat at nang wala pong masayang. Kasi after ng January po at hindi namin ito na ibenta, itatapon na lang po namin to. Sayang naman.
However, some restaurant owners refuse to do so.
Marami pong recipes na hindi po pwede for red onions. Iba po talagang lasa. So, makakasira po sa quality and sa reputation ng isang restaurant kung hindi po namin mabigay yung pinangako namin sa customer, which is good food and good service.
Despite this, food business owners are willing to work with farmers to increase their sales. The group also recommends importing white onions to relieve supply shortage.
Umasa po kami na ma-resolve po nila. Total nandito naman po ang restaurant industry para mag-support at bumili kung marami po silang ma-harvest. Kung wala pong supply sa local farms, sana po may mas malakas na importation of for example, white onions, para ma-feel lang po yung short-term problem namin.
The Department of Agriculture is now linking farmers to institutional buyers for the supply of onion. Bray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A House bill was filed in the House of Representatives which seeks to implement tax exemption on fertilizers for rice, corn, and sugar. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
House Bill number 1572 aims to lower prices of prime commodities. Authors of the bill, Masbate Representatives Olga and Ricardo Co, said tax exemption on fertilizer would help not just farmers but also consumers. Farmers Group Federation of Free Farmers said taxes on fertilizers are not that high. Federation of Free Farmers Chairman Leonardo Montemayor explains that prices would be slightly lower if tax exemption is implemented.
Kung gagawing 0%, although maliit lang, if my recollection is correct, then still helpful kahit na maliit ang reduction.
He said that this is still relatively small, but the tax exemption would still help farmers and consumers. Based on the data of Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority, the average price of fertilizer is at 2,943 pesos as of June 10, 2022. One of the commonly used fertilizer, urea, cost 2,762 pesos last July 2022. This is higher compared to last 2021 and 2020, where prices is only around 1,000 pesos. However, the Farmers Group said a tax exemption will not be enough to lower commodity prices. In a statement, Danny Fausto, president of Philippine Chamber of Agriculture and Food, said fuel prices also affect the prices of fertilizers. Federation of Free Farmers Chairman Leonardo Montemayor recommends government subsidy should be combined with tax exemption to lower prices.
Pwedeng tax exemption at the same time, i-combine it with other measures. Of course, the best really, immediate would be if it can be further subsidized. Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung presyo ng fertilizer ngayon, through government subsidy, pwede natin lalong mapababa.
Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Department of Justice expects cooperation from the United States in the areas of effective case prosecution and a high conviction rate in the nation. Dante Amento tells us why.
United States delegation led by Senator Edward Markey met Department of Justice Secretary Crispin Boying Rimulya yesterday at the DOJ in Manila. DOJ spokesperson Miko Clavano disclosed Rimulya and Markey discussed several areas of concern, primarily on human rights.
Maraming napag-usapan. Of course, the biggest concern were human rights concerns. And yesterday, there was a very good discussion on how the US, Senator Markey and his congressional delegate could help us in our programs to further transparency, to further human rights. And the Secretary is very receptive to the suggestions of the good US Senator. And we also shared kung ano yung naging mga developments dito sa atin.
Clavano said Secretary Rimulya and Senator Markey also addressed matters involving potential collaboration between the United States and the Philippines, including the prosecution of cases within the nation.
The US will provide support and assistance to our prosecutors to train them as well as the police para ho mas maganda ang maging takbo ng ating prosecution of cases, of criminal cases.
Rimulya also revealed his plan to amend Rule 112 of the Rules of Court relating to preliminary investigation, which intends to ensure good case build-up. Prosecutors would have enough evidence from the Philippine National Police to increase or strengthen conviction rate.
You know, marami hong problema yung mga prosecutors natin kasi kadalasan yung mga witnesses ho natin hindi sila very cooperative, no? Kaya yung prosecution of cases, the evidence that we gather are not strong enough to produce convictions.
Meanwhile, the U.S. delegation paid a visit to former Senator Laila De Lima this afternoon at the PNP custodial facility at Camp Crame. An official statement on the visit will be released by De Lima tomorrow. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Hong Kong law enforcement has established a task force to find and assist citizens who have been trafficked and fall victim to job scams in Southeast Asia. Joselito Liquido will tell us the details live. Yes, Joselito?
Good evening, Kath. The Special Police Task Force unit formed by the Hong Kong law enforcement will find and help victims of the boiler room scam. Victims have claimed in recent months to have been enticed to nations like Myanmar, Cambodia, Thailand, and Laos with false promises of romance or well-paying professions, then detained against their will and made to labor often for months. Although the illicit operation has been ongoing around Asia for a while, it was only recently highlighted when graphic photos and videos of victims being threatened and abused were published by the press. Michael Chuk, Hong Kong's Undersecretary for Security, said that their top priority right now is securing the victims' safe return and promised to continue working with Chinese embassies and local police. He also cautioned traveling residents to avoid going to northern and southern parts of Myanmar since the scam operations are mainly situated in border areas. Jeremy Douglas, Regional Representative of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime for Southeast Asia, even added that the scammers sometimes use the victims themselves to run the scam, causing more difficulty to law enforcement and human rights. Unfortunately, Kath, Hong Kong currently has no legislations that specifically outlaws human trafficking and forced labor. Kath?
Joselito, has Hong Kong's authorities stated how many were victims to this operation?
Kath, so far 20 victims have reached out to Hong Kong officials for help. 12 have already been verified to be safe, while 8 is still unaccounted for in Myanmar. Taiwan has brought 9 people back from Thailand after Thai authorities suspected them as trafficked victims. Macau police found 5 that were promised casino jobs in Laos and Cambodia and were successfully persuaded to cancel their trips. Back to you, Kath.
Thank you, Joselito Liquido, for that live report. British railway workers went on strike as salaries are impacted by the record-breaking inflation in the United Kingdom and around the world. Marvi Delfin will give us the details live. Marvi?
Kath, due to the high inflation impacting food and energy prices, the United Kingdom is facing an increase in the cost of living, and so UK rail workers staged a strike on Thursday. More railway staff in the tens of thousands are also ready to walk out of their jobs in the next 2 days, as issues with wages aren't being resolved. Cat strikes in the United Kingdom staged at a level like this has not happened since the 1980s, as the Ukraine war pushes inflation to reach 10% in the UK, the highest since 1982. To defend their jobs due to the record fall in real wages, General Secretary of Unite the Union, Sharon Graham, expressed the need to pursue actions necessary to defend their jobs amidst the cost of living crisis. Railway workers have been striking since July last month as union leaders turned down the Network Rail offer, which was a small 4% pay rise if workers accepted working condition changes. However, such actions have disrupted the transportation of commuters and travelers as no one is left to operate the trains. Kath?
Thank you, Marvi Delfin, for that live report. Beginning next month, Emirates Airlines announced that it has ceased all flight operations into and out of Nigeria. Ryuji Sasaki tells us why live. Yes, Ryuji?
Kath, Emirates decided to put on hold all flights to Nigeria due to Nigeria's inability to repatriate funds. In a letter addressed to Nigeria's aviation minister, Emirates said it could not access its funds amounting to $85 million. Nigeria's aviation ministry says it is working hard to ensure the funds are released not only for Emirates, but all airlines affected. Emirates said it has tried every avenue to address the challenges of repatriating the funds, which have been rising by over $10 million every month but had been no progress, regrettably. Since last month, the carrier has had trouble with repatriating the funds. It reduced flights to Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos. Nigeria's aviation minister, Hadi Sirika, did not elaborate what the factors were, but he stated that the funds will be released as this was not the first time it happened. In 2015, Nigeria released about $600 million in trap funds, despite the recession and the dwindling revenues coming to the country at that time. Kath?
Thank you, Ryuji Sasaki, reporting live. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I'm Kat Maraos, live from Bangkok, Thailand. Good evening.
A group of Philippine-based and overseas-based Pinoy tennis coaches joined together with the aim to empower their fellow coaches first. Nina Armilio tells us why.
The coach is the second parent of an athlete. When it comes to sport, parents give their advice to children, but coaches bring them to success. That is what the TTCP, or Top Tennis Coaches Philippines, aims to do. The organization believes in the value of empowering not only the athlete, but also the coaches themselves.
The TTCP, we train the coaches. We want the coaches to get involved in every single tennis clubs all over the country. Have them work as like tournament directors, apart from coaching. So we are trying to install these coaches at tennis clubs, like official tennis coach of a tennis club, so that they will have a regular income and a regular training program. The TTCP wanted to educate our fellow coaches to understand kung paano yung tennis magiging connected sa life.
Coach Glenn Idogan says he has benefited from TTCP's advocacy.
Pinagpapasalamat sa Diyos na isa sa napabilang sa top tennis coaches of the Philippines na nakatulong po ito sa akin ng malaki dahil yung mga ideas po ng mga coaches mo natin doon, magagaling na idea ay nababasa namin at na-absorb at na-i-apply din namin sa pagtuturo namin sa aming kanya-kanyang pagtuturo sa aming pwesto.
On top of boosting coaches' potentials, TTCP offers a pathway towards a united Filipino tennis community.
The target reach is from players to the tennis clubs, to the trainers and the coaches. The objective of this group is to bridge the gap between the players, the coaches, the trainers, the parents, the tennis clubs, the national associations, so that again, they can work together para mapalakas natin yung tennis sa Pilipinas. Otherwise, kapag watak-watak ang coaches, ang players, ang parents, ang national associations, there's no way that we can compete na internationally to the highest competition level dahil mahina ito kung hindi sama-sama.
TTCP opens its doors to Filipino coaches as well as parents because of the broad horizon of opportunities that tennis offers.
I would like to invite everyone, all of the coaches and all of the parents and the national associations and the companies to help or to join us in this advocacy because we are trying to do something good for the kids, especially the kids. Kasi itong mga batang to, magkakaroon sila ng opportunity to get to college as a sports scholar, which would mean magiging libre ang tuition fees nila. And as a parent, magiging maluwag ito para sa finances nila.
The more than 200 coaches strong TTCP plans on conducting various activities in accordance with its advocacy of helping coaches, parents, and athletes. Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, As the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of Hebrews chapter 3, verse 4. It says, "For every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is God." And those are the reasons behind the news, August 19, 2022, reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo, and because we need to know, we will always ask why. We serve the people, we give glory to God.